Hey there, Suzanne here with Caregiver Haven. So what we're going to talk about today is something called capacity planning. And it isn't a secret. It's not a new app. But it is one technique that caregivers just don't know how to do. Capacity planning is what I call it. And let me show you how it works, because it is amazing how caregivers streamline their time, their schedules, and they get their life back. And that's what I want for you. So first off, step number one is the big three, okay? We're going to look at these, and I want you to list next week's three non-negotiables. Three non-negotiables. Now, they could be medications, they could be doctor appointments, they could be a legal issue that's coming up, a safety issue that's coming up, or it could be the time out that you're taking for yourself, for your own appointment with yourself. Me time is what I call it. You can spend me time with yourself or with your friends or however you want to spend it, but that's me time. So you pick three, you don't pick 103, you pick only three. Okay, so that is step number one. So you're going to list that. Because if you put everything down, then everything becomes a priority. And if everything becomes a priority, then nothing is a priority, right? So we don't want that. Okay, now step number two. We're going to color code because we love colors. So we're going to color code red, yellow, and green. So the red, are the high energy. They're drainers is what I call them. Those are the high energy things like transferring your senior, bathing your senior, things like that that take a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of physical movement to do. And you have to do those, as I've said many times, when your energy is the highest. You don't wait until evening to give a senior a bath or a shower if that is the lowest energy time for you in the day. Why? Because you're not sharp, you're not paying attention, you're not mentally there, okay? So energy is what we're playing off of here, energy. All right, number two is yellow. All right, for yellow, what we want there is it's going to require focus. It's a complex situation where it maybe doesn't take a physical energy, but it does take up mental energy. All right, that's focus. Focus. You have to turn on a beautiful YouTube video that helps you with focus in order to get that project done. Okay. And number three is the green. And the green are usually those things that they're energy friendly. And what I mean by that is we really enjoy them. We want to do them. Then they're not that bad to do. We do them, maybe we don't enjoy them, but we do them without even thinking about them. It might be some paperwork we have to fill out, and it might even be that pharmacy. We have to stop by the pharmacy and pick up some medications. So what? It's easy. In and out, or we even drive through. How easy is that? Okay? So green is easy. Yellow takes your focus, and red takes your energy. All right, so look at those three tasks that you've identified. Now we're not done. Now step number three. Okay, step number three is we're going to build your backup ladder. What do I mean by that? A backup ladder? Yes. So we have tiers, and that's T-I-E-R, not T-E-A-R-S. Tiers. Tiers mean tier number one would be like your neighbor or your sibling that you can call on. Tier number two might be paid help. All right, you're actually paying somebody. And this doesn't have to be somebody that charges $40 an hour. You could have a high school student come in, a responsible high school student. You could find a lovely high school student from a friend of yours who wants to make some extra money. I always do. Anytime I put out the word that I need help with something, especially if it's in technology, I always have a friend who's got a daughter or a son in the age group that knows technology when I don't. So that's something you can look at. And tier number three is what I call telehealth or telemedicine. Now that does not necessarily mean that you're not going to use your senior's primary care physician. You can send them a message through the phone, through the patient portal. Or it can be a telehealth actual office visit that needs to occur. So telehealth is a way to reach out to your senior's doctor, and don't forget the pharmacist. Pharmacist is extremely important because a pharmacist, as I've said 1,000 times, if you know my products and you've seen my courses before, I can't tell you the number of times I've taken a list of medications for my clients to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist goes, whoa, wait a minute, don't these specialists talk to each other? Don't they know that these medications are just bombarding your senior? And I'm like, no, they don't. Why do I know this? Because so many times in medical practice, when the doctor has taken a senior, has agreed to take a senior off some of these medications to see how they're doing, they perk right up. And I don't recommend you do that. You cannot do that. That is dangerous. But you can talk to the doctor about medications based on what the pharmacist tells you. It's extremely important. Anyway, I'm going down that rabbit hole. I don't mean to. But what I'm saying is you've got these 3 tiers. So what you're going to do with them is you're going to write one contact, okay? One contact under each tier before you need them. So think of somebody, a sibling or a neighbor. Then think of paid help. And think about telehealth. Is it a message to which specialist? I need you to write these down because I'm going to go back to my whys here. Because you don't want to be caught in a crisis. I want you to think about this caregiver right now. She's caring for her mom, and her mom has a crisis right now, or she is having, the caregiver is having a conflict right now. And all she has to do is pick up the phone and call that tier number 1, that neighbor, because she pre-planned, and she says, can you come over for about an hour? How cool is that? Because she pre-planned. This is what we're talking about. Now, the next thing you're going to do with these steps is step number 4, is what I call the Friday 15. All right, let's talk about this for a minute, because so far we've done step number 1, right? You're going to list 3 non-negotiables for next week, right? 3 non-negotiables, not 10, only 3. Step number 2, you're going to categorize them into red, yellow, and green based on energy and focus, okay? And then number 3 is you're going to build out your tiers. Tier number 1, siblings or neighbor. Tier number 2, paid help. Regardless, you're going to pay them. It doesn't have to be it can be an agency if you want it to. And number 3 is telehealth. Okay. Now, step number 4. Here's where it gets really cool. Every Friday, you're going to spend 15 minutes. And I actually have to set my timer for 15 minutes. Okay? It has to go off in 15 minutes. First time I did this, I didn't do it in 15. Second week, nope. Third week, nope. Finally, I got it down to 15 minutes. This is not a high energy. This is not a hard focus. This is a green task, okay? This is where you just say, hey, I've got 15 minutes to do this. What are you going to do in those 15 minutes? You're going to refill meds if you need to, or you're going to write it down to do it. You're going to confirm rides, which is, hi, I just want to confirm that we're on for Tuesday at 8 o'clock, you're taking Dad to the doctor, okay? You're going to set out paperwork. You're not going to do it. You're only going to set it out because it's next week. And maybe even pre-draft some questions that you want to give to the doctor, anything like that. Write them down. You're not going to do them. They're just there, okay? 15 minutes. And what I do now is I take those 15 minutes and I even put them over across the days of the week. I spread them out. And I know my energy, I know when it is during the day, so I've got red, yellow, and green. And that's it, 15 minutes to do this. It's a no-brainer. And I want you to think again about that caregiver. She's taking care of her mom who has dementia, her dad who has COPD, and this is an actual client of mine who sits down for 15 minutes on Friday, and she does all of this. And what does it do? She will not have to put out fires on Monday rather. She has no fires on Monday. Her week is set up. All she does on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is she tweaks. It is the coolest thing in the world because she has pre-planned what needs to be done, and she has resources, and she knows her energy. That's how I want you to live. And so below, sign up for Join the Waitlist, because I do have another course that I'm going to be opening, and you can be the first to register. And the reason I say that is I can't take everybody. The course has gotten too large, and you may have heard me say this before. There would just be too many people, and I would not do it justice for those who want this information and the feedback that I want to give you. So be the first to register, join the wait list, and then we'll get into it, okay, the course. But all these tips, all these things about time management, about how it works, I want you to own this. I want you to be the person that say, holy cow, this really does work. So let's start with the Friday 15. Put those 3 steps in place. Join the wait list, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.